Hey classmates, that's Emily. Hi. I'm doing my research and my presentation on does meat cause cancer? And I know we're not supposed to, but I'm going to cheat with my paper because I have an awful memory. I'm going to give you a little background on this, just my presentation, not the data. I have it set up as a murder trial. I was just a juror in a murder trial last month, and I really liked how the prosecutor presented everything. So I have all my facts at the beginning, and then I have kind of the core details and what happens, and then I have everything to wrap it up at the end. So I apologize if you have a hard time hearing me or if I cough in the middle. I'm kind of getting over something. But another thing is that cancer really hits home to me. My dad is currently battling throat cancer, so I know it's no joke. So when I talk about this meat causing cancer, it's more than just words to me. Now, his cancer isn't related to red meat or any type of meat, but cancer is no joke. So it's something definitely to listen to and to consider how you can apply this information to your life to avoid the risks associated with meat. So, what is wrong with meat? Let's specify what meat we're talking about. We're talking about red meat and processed meat. As you can see on the screen, the red meat is the fresh meat that we cook. The processed meat is stuff with the additives and the flavoring and stuff like that that we reheat, or we don't even need to reheat. Red meat is a good source of vitamins and nutrients. Here we go. I'm going to quote here. Red meat contains high biological value, protein, and important micronutrients that are needed for good health throughout life. It also contains a range of fats, including essential omega-3 polyunsaturated fats. Red meat is low fat content, moderate in cholesterol, and rich in protein. Now, this is where a lot of people push red meat because of the protein factor. When you're trying to buff up, get more muscle, or you're trying to lose weight, you eat a lot of protein. Protein keeps you full. Protein builds muscle. So a lot of people will eat red meat. Apologize, my nose itches. The cooking methods with red meat, the ways to cook it are as anybody would cook it, out on a grill, frying pan, bake it, cook it, is a broiler. The way it's cooked is important, along with the doneness factor, how well it's cooked. Next slide shows the different ways of cooking and eating your meat. And the primary concern is with well-done meat. The well-done meat, I can show you on my mouse here, has that brown, crispy outer end, and you see it a little bit on the other ones, but I think the main concern is with well-done meat because it's on the stove longer, and it's getting that crispier outside, that crunchier outer part, which is where the concern is. Research shows that the more well done the meat is cooked, the more chemical compounds are formed. So these chemical compounds are formed on the crispier parts where the grill marks are. Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot. The grill lines, that overly cooked part is where the main concern is. That's where those chemical compounds are collected, and then we chew them, and later we'll go over the digestive process, and that's where it begins the connection to cancer. The chemical compounds have been linked to a few different kinds of cancers, more specifically colorectal. Processed meats. There's different types of processed meats, and let me show you a little slide. I'll let you kind of read over that, but processed meats, there's 6 types. They vary from, our hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, all the way down to beef jerky. So in between, we have bacon, ham, sausage, salami, meatloaf, things like that. So there's different kinds of processed meats. It's not just lunch meat, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, stuff like that. The next part is the ready to. So along with those 6 different types, there's these different ways to eat processed meat. There's the ready to cook. We have our handy dandy chef over here, where there he is. And then we have the ready to eat, like this little baby's ready to eat. Ready to cook is that the meat is already prepared. It's ready to go on the grill, go on the frying pan, whatever. It's processed meat that is ready to cook. The ready to eat is, just as it sounds, it's cooked or cured prior to sale, so you can eat it as soon as you have it. And the example I like to think of is like lunch meat with ham or turkey. That stuff, you don't have to cook it to eat it. You can eat it right as they slice it. All right. Oh, this is just the FYI. Do you know what's in your meat? Just something to consider. You don't always know what the ingredients are in your meat packages. So, buying the frozen meat, the boxed meat, that's really concerning. You can ask your grocer, the grocery store people, and, see what they have to say. Ask the butcher, what's in this? It's really important to know what you're eating, and that goes for not just meat, but everything. You hear all the organic talk, but this, it doesn't have to be organic. You just have to know what's in it. So what is cancer? Cancer is a lot of things. Let's start with the cells. Everyone knows how amazing our body is. We're made up of millions of cells, and these cells constantly reproduce, duplicate. They continue to grow. And when our cells die or are damaged, our body kind of flushes them out and produces more cells. Now, when these cells don't get flushed out, or, they are damaged but they don't get fixed, they can collect and reproduce and create bad cells. Now, these bad cells come together and create tumors. And tumors you can typically see them on the outside of the skin. They're bumps underneath your skin. They're that collection of cells. Sometimes they're on the inside where you can't see them. Tumors can be 2 things, one of 2. They could be benign, which means there's no cancer, or they could be malignant, which means it is cancerous. Now, these cells are, like I said, bad cells. They have no assignment. They have nothing to do but cause trouble. They ignore the body, any signals that are sent to the body, and they're pretty difficult to get rid of. So once they're in there, they're in there. Without getting off topic, there are ways to get rid of cancer, but they're pretty stubborn, those cells. Cancer can be genetic. It's known to be genetic disease. Someone may have a family history of cancer, and therefore those genes are already in your body. Now, when those genes become mutated, then that's when it starts to become a concern and a tumor could grow. Now, there's types of genes. There's 3 types. The first one is associated with normal cell growth, but when altered or grow more often than usual, they can become cancerous. The second gene is a tumor suppressor. However, it can be related to cancer if the gene is altered. So it all goes back to these genes and cells, being different. They're different, and then they mutate and collect each other and reproduce and cause cancer. The last one is a DNA repair gene, and again, if this becomes mutated, it can spread to other cells and mutate them as well, or spread other mutated cells. So there's your little explanation of cancer. These are cells dividing, and so that's what they do. They're one whole cell, then they divide, and then they divide, and they divide. So that's the information on cancer. So colorectal cancer is what is linked to meat. The colon you can see over here. This is primarily where it is. And rectal is down here. And they go together as colorectal. This cancer has been connected to forming from digested red meat and processed meat. Now, a polyp is formed inside of the large intestine, which is where the colon and the rectum are. The polyps, oh, I just skipped a page, darn it. The polyps are like little mushrooms or little toenails inside that come up, and that's the first sign of colorectal cancer. It's typically found within the colon. These guys. So the digestion process. I want to show you guys a little video. I think it would explain things a lot better. And I have to let you know this video cuts out at 15 minutes, so I'm going to do my best and then do another video. So here is this. It kind of gives you the process from the beginning to the end on digestion.
In digestion, food is changed by the organs into a soluble form to be absorbed by the body. Food in the mouth is mixed with saliva. Saliva begins to dissolve the food as the teeth grind and cut it. Food is forced back into the throat, pharynx, by the tongue. Food in the pharynx stimulates the swallowing reflex. The larynx is pulled upward to meet the epiglottis and seal off the trachea.
You'll hear a lot of
Food goes from
terms
the pharynx to the esophagus.
that you may not know that are not necessarily important either.
The peristaltic wave reaches the esophageal sphincter and food enters the stomach. The unique muscular structure of the stomach breaks up the food into small pieces called chyme. Chyme exits through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum of the small intestine. The major portion of absorption and digestion occurs in the small intestine. The mucosa secrete enzymes that supplement the digestive enzymes of the pancreas and liver. This completes the chemical process of digestion. The walls are covered with villi where nutrient absorption takes place. The structure of each villus contains a capillary and lacteal to pick up the digested nutrients. The nutrients are now transported by the blood to all the cells of the body. The undigested food reaches the ileocecal valve and enters the large intestine, or colon. The colon absorbs water, manufactures vitamins, produces mucus, and forms and expels feces. Mass peristalsis pushes the feces into the rectum, which stimulates the defecation reflex.
Okay, so there is that video. I'm not sure where I'm at. So next we go into the research part of everything. The group categories, the World Health Organization, or WHO, categorized processed meat as a Group 1 category, and this means that there was sufficient evidence that these types of meat can cause cancer, placing it in the same category as tobacco and alcohol, obviously with a different severity level. England did 3 groups of studies. They studied 3 different groups. The first group was primarily fed, actually they were only fed meat, about 14 ounces of meat a day. The second group was strictly vegetarian, and the third group was a mixture of both. Now they went through the stool of everybody. They found potentially cancer-causing chemicals in that of the ones who ate primarily meat. They did show the beginning of DNA changing cells, which is the beginning sign of cancer. So that was found in relation to eating so much meat. The last study is on rodents. It was found the heterocyclic amines, I'm totally pronouncing that wrong, HCAs, and cancer. There's a connection between them. The rodents, they did have a higher amount of HCAs than a human would consume, but the point of this was to prove that there is a connection. And now my 15 minutes is about up, so I'm going to stop this here and do another video for the last 5 minutes. Thank you.